Let's hear now from Denis Branthonne, founder and CEO of Novade. Denis will tackle digitization to boost project quality and reputation, and discuss how technology has changed the way property developers engage with homeowners to build trust and transparency, and how general contractors can improve the quality of buildings.
I'm Denis Branthonne, the CEO and co-founder of Novade. Novade helps companies in the building and construction industry drive their digital transformation with a mobile application. We help companies to improve their productivity, quality, and safety in the field. We started 7 years ago in Singapore, and today we operate in 20 countries across Europe and Asia. Today, I would like to share some stories about how technology can help property developers and contractors to build stronger relationships with their clients and deliver quality projects every time. Let's go back in time. We are in 2015. At that time, when you start a residential project, there's a new phenomenon spreading up very fast. New homeowners start building WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups, and all issues and problems or defects they may have on the projects are shared on social media. Property developers are not ready for this new phenomenon. Years of building up strong brands could be jeopardized just by some leakage or information going on the web. In 2015, Novade is in second year of operations. We work with property developers and contractors to help them to automate their defect management systems and quality controls. The application is successful, but it remains a tool for internal systems dedicated for professionals. I remember a very important meeting with the CEO of a large real estate company in Singapore. He's sharing his concern with social media. And he's asking me whether actually Novade could help to solve this issue. I remember proposing that potentially we could actually open the Novade app to homeowners. Now, his team was scared by this idea. They thought that they would be flooded with hundreds of requests and pictures coming from new homeowners, and they would not be able to cope with it. But the CEO was bold and visionary. Well, if all this information is already on social media, why don't we try to deal with it and help our clients to solve these problems? He was right. And so we decided to move forward and open the app to the homeowners. It was a bold move because at that time, I was not sure we would be able to deliver. The handover process looks simple on paper, but it's actually a very complex process to digitize. And the CEO himself was not sure it would work, but he was convinced that if you want to have a strong company with a strong brand, you have to deal with the complaints from your clients. So we moved on. We developed and deployed the first fully digitized handover process using a mobile app involving new homeowners, developers, contractors, and subcontractors. The way it works is pretty straightforward. When you buy a flat and you take possession of that flat, the customer service officer is going to give you the keys and is also going to suggest that you download and log in to the Novade app. When you arrive in the flat, if you find any issue, you detect any problem in any place, just use your app, take a picture of the issue, then this information is shared with the developer, then shared with the contractor, and usually actually shared all the way to the subcontractor who's going to be in charge of doing the rectification. Now, what is very critical is the subcontractor actually gets very precise information, the picture, the location, and is able to do his job right away. When the job is done, he can report to the contractor, developer, get the approvals, and in the end, the homeowner gets the information real time on his mobile device. This seems kind of obvious today, that's the way to move forward. Actually, 6 years ago, it was not necessary. There was a lot of resistance in the industry to use mobile applications and switch from paper to mobile. This first deployment was actually a success. First of all, there was no downside. There were no hundreds of issues and complaints that came up through the app. In fact, over time, we've learned that using a digital tool or paper, the number of issues is about the same statistically. But on the other hand, there were a lot of benefits by using this new approach. First of all, clients felt good. They felt that they had a tool that would take into account their issues. They felt that the clients were really listening to them. In fact, some of them were impressed by the fact that the property developer was confident enough to open up in real time any issue. So customer satisfaction and the brand got boosted. That was a big deal for the clients. The customer service teams also saw an increase in productivity. They didn't have to chase data and people. They could go back to work on what they were hired for, which was propose a strong customer experience and deliver high-quality projects. The contractors also saw some benefits, although initially many of them were actually very skeptical. In fact, when the property developers proposed to open the app, some of them were in denial. They didn't want to get this. They were actually also scared that they would get a lot of requests and they would be very difficult to answer. But over time, actually, they realized that the digitization brings a lot of benefits for them. It brings transparency. It brings accountability. It helps them to prioritize and understand the issues. So at the end of the day, actually, they become more efficient in their ability to manage the defects and the handover process. And also their ability to engage with their clients, the property developers, has improved. And today, in fact, many of the contractors who've started to experience digitization of defect rectification process with property developers have adopted digital tools to manage their in-house quality projects. I love this story because it really illustrates how starting from a very simple process in the field, you can drive a full digital transformation, which is driven by the clients. It's very profound. It's changed the way companies handle clients. It helps companies to improve their internal processes and ultimately improve brand reputation and productivity. This started 6 years ago, by the way, and so it's a system that is well understood, that works very well. But it's not the end of the journey. Our first clients have actually, over the years, accumulated millions of records. And this is where artificial intelligence and algorithms comes into play. We are building with them tools, algorithms that help them to better predict what may happen on their projects. Let me give you an example, for instance. We're able to predict over time the time it's going to take to rectify defects. We should be able to analyze with past records potential issues that will happen on a project. We're able to identify subcontractors who are doing a good job and others who are not. So not only have we improved the customer experience and the productivity of the team, but also we've given data to our clients that really help them to bring their companies to the next level. It's just the beginning of the journey. And as companies get more comfortable with using data and they use more and more consistent and standard data, they're going to be able to leverage the power of data to improve their operations. There's another aspect I should cover. It's the impact of COVID. The pandemic has increased demand for systems to reduce interactions in the field. And somehow we've observed that companies who had adopted digital handover process were able to manage the situation much better, continue operations, or restart operations much faster than the other companies. So somehow the pandemic has actually increased the adoption for such solutions. Today, in Singapore, 9 of the top real estate companies are using a digital handover process for their residential projects. Now, what about the rest of the world? It's fascinating because the story I talked about in 2015 with this CEO who made the decision to move forward is repeating itself in all the countries we have started operations over the last few years. In every country, there's always going to be someone somewhere who believes in the brand, who believes that this is the way to move forward. In every country, there's also resistance. People were skeptical. People were not sure. We also observed that there are subtle differences. The legal environment may be different, certain culture or practices may differ. But fundamentally, the principles are the same. Clients want to be taken care of. They want companies that listen to them. Property developers want to make sure things get delivered. And the contractors want to run efficient operations. So we see no reason why this wide usage in Singapore is not going to be adopted in the rest of the world. In fact, today, leading property developers across Asia are already using the handover process, and we are seeing an increase in adoption in countries like Indonesia, India, Malaysia, etc. This is very exciting. We're very excited about the journey that started 7 years ago, and we are looking forward to continue to work with our clients to help them drive the digital transformation and ultimately boost their brands and improve their productivity. If you want to know more about the topic of digital handover, I would suggest to read an article that you can see right now on the screen. It gets details about how this works. I want to thank you for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to engage with you if you want to know more about this topic. Thank you very much.